Today I want to talk about Kimi no Nawa, or in the English title, Your Name. Your Name is an anime movie that aired this August and has been receiving extremely high reviews on review sites such as MyAnimeList. For reference, the current average score for this show, or this movie, on MyAnimeList is a 9.38. You don't normally see 9.38, not on animes and especially not on anime movies. A 9.38 is something you might see on the older movies like Studio Ghibli films or older movies by the same studio. And it's actually this extremely high score that enticed me to watch the movie, and after watching it, I found that I really enjoyed it, which is why I wanted to make this review / commentary so I could talk about it with you guys. Now, Kimi no Nawa is very similar to two movies that I saw a long time ago, two old school anime movies called 5 centimeters per second and Kumo no Muko. Now obviously the reason that it's very similar to these is because it's by the same studio, CoMix Wave Films. And CoMix Wave Films has always done a very great job of incorporating romance, drama, breathtaking art, and just an overall beautiful aesthetic into their films. Now, this movie did not fall short on that aesthetic. It retained the same beautiful aesthetic that the other two had, but this one personally stood out to me because of its plot. The plot of this movie was very unique and fun to watch. I'm not saying the plot of the other two were bad or weren't interesting, I'm just saying that this plot stood out to me more than the other two did. When you take an outstanding plot and couple it with the beautiful aesthetic that these movies normally have, to me that makes a very nice movie and something that's very enjoyable to watch. Now, I'm going to get into the plot a little bit here because it'll help further my point, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but when I do get to anything that might be considered more of a drastic spoiler, I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to tell you guys you don't have to worry, and I'm going to tell you what part to skip to avoid any sort of spoilers. Now, getting into the plot, Kumo no Muko involves... Sorry, that was the wrong name. Kimi no Nawa involves two people, a boy and a girl, who live in different cities, they've never met, and they live very different lives. Now, these two people will randomly switch bodies when they fall asleep, unbeknownst to them, like it just randomly starts happening, and at first they think they're dreaming. At first they think, I'll do whatever I want to do because obviously this is a dream, there's no repercussions, etc. And then after some time they start realizing, wait, I'm actually switching bodies with someone else, and they start kind of talking to each other like, hey, who are you? Who are you switching to my body? And once they get to know each other better, they start saying, this is what you can do in my body, this is what you can't do. They start giving each other tips, and they kind of start living each other's lives, and it's very interesting to watch them switch places and live each other's lives. Like, per se, when the girl switches into the male's body, we get to see what it's like when female body language is incorporated into a male body, which this movie does a very great job of, and it's actually kind of funny to watch, or interesting to watch. Same way when the male switches into the female body, we get to see male body language and male kind of behavior in a female body. That's one interesting part of the movie, and it was really fun and intriguing to watch, and it made the overall feel of the movie just kind of fascinating, per se. It's not something that you normally get to see or watch, so it was fun. That actually is not the main part of the plot that stood out to me. The main part of the plot that stood out to me is actually when we get more into the meat of the story, which, here are the spoilers, I'm going to tell you now. There's going to be a notation on the screen. Skip to that point if you want to avoid these spoilers. We find out that the two timelines of the boy and the girl actually aren't synced up, even though they're the same age and they're switching. The girl is actually 4 years in the past, and something tragic happened to her. I'm not going to reveal what. Something tragic happened that resulted in her death, and essentially it comes down to the boy to prevent that tragedy from happening because he's found that, hey, he built a relationship with this person, although he's never met her. So that's the end of the spoilers. I'm not going to go any further into the plot than that, and this is probably where I'll put the notation for people to come back. So the movie, along with this outstanding plot, does a great job of having two people build a relationship without ever meeting each other, without ever talking face to face, or even knowing what each other look like. They did just talk by writing on their hands, or they talk through phone memos, and watching two people build a relationship in such a unique way was one part that made the movie stand out to me so much, is because it's not something that I've really seen before. So I thought incorporating that into an anime was very well done, and I thought it was just extremely fun to watch. Now, I'm gonna end the review to some degree there because I want to get into a further discussion of anime movies in general. Because this movie got me thinking, In the past, I used to see anime movies a lot more, and they were a lot more popular back then than they are now. So back then, I would see 5 centimeters per second and Kumo no Muko in just 60% of your anime music videos or your AMVs. They were everywhere because of their beautiful art and because of how many people knew about them. And of course, Studio Ghibli was popular with everyone, even people who don't watch anime on average. And this got me thinking, how come we don't have more outstanding anime movies, or more movies that are just far more talked about, far more discussed in the anime community? I see all these movies release with each season, yet none of them ever seem to make their debut, and I don't ever seem to hear about them other than reading up on them when I'm looking up what's coming out. I feel like movies are such a great medium to expand anime because it's a way for people to watch anime without having to sit through a 12 or 24 episode series. Most people don't have the time, the want, or the motivation to sit through such a long series just to be introduced to what anime is like, so a movie is a great way to have someone sit down for an hour or two and see what anime has to offer them without devoting so much time. With this ability, I guess you could call it, the fact that a movie is short and can show people what anime has to offer, I feel like that's such a great thing, and it's not monopolized on or taken advantage of or anything like that. I feel like more anime movies could be produced that could introduce people in anime without taking much of their time and to show them that anime has a lot to offer, but yet it's not done. How come so much effort is put into shows yet not into the movies? So I suppose after watching this movie, it got me thinking that I could sit someone down, I could show them this 2 hour or 1 hour and a half, however long it was, movie, and be like, look, this is what anime has to offer. And I feel like a lot of people would enjoy it and see kind of what anime is all about. Whereas they wouldn't sit down with me and watch a 12 episode series. So I'm kind of hoping that in the future we're going to see more movies like this, more movies that really stand out, so that you can share them with people who don't commonly watch anime and don't have that much time, to show them, hey, this is what I watch, and this is what the anime medium or the anime culture has to offer you. Now, that's about all I want to say on that. Toppling that with the fact that this movie is great, and I do recommend it for you to watch. I've said all I need to say, and I'm going to go ahead and head off now, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like it. If you want to see more videos, feel free to subscribe, and I'm going to head off, so I'll see you guys next time.